Older, not older.
What a treat here to be able to see Tom, good brother. And I'd like to have my pastor and his wife stand up, please.
Amen.
It's taken me a long time to thaw out going to their church. Them contemporary churches just kill me. And all their music is the good old music that I was raised on. And I have to thaw out, and I love it. I've got a neighbor. He's an alcoholic. And I took him to church with me. And the pastor prayed for him. And he gave his heart to God.
Praise God.
Hallelujah.
I never felt the presence of God in years like I felt like that. I could hardly stand there when he was praying for me. We've really missed winning souls for Jesus. That's the most important thing, is to touch people for God. That's just been my whole life. God called me. I only argued with God one time. In all the years I've lived, I only argued with him one time, and that's because he wanted me to go to a mission in Oakland. I said, Lord, I don't want to go there. He said, well, I'd like you to go there. So I went, and it was all right. But I've had a wonderful life. I tell you, I don't reminisce about how many houses I've built, how many cars I've had, and how much money I've had. I reminisce about the people I've had a chance to lead for Jesus.
Amen.
That's the most exciting thing. I'll give you one in particular. New Beginning Church, they had a black preacher. Got up there and preached, and I mean, he preached a house of fire. This guy was a preacher's preacher. And I said, man, I got to meet him. And so he's walking down the aisle, and he walks by, and I says, man, I enjoyed your preaching. That was really good. Oh, he says, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I would say he's probably in his 40s, late 40s, I'm sure. And he says, what do you do? I said, well, I've visited on college campuses and high schools. I said, what high schools? I said, well, one in particular I spent about 8 years at Berkeley High School. He said, Berkeley High School? He said, man, I'm one of your kids. He said, if I ever become a preacher, I'm going to become your kind. Now that made me happy.
Hallelujah.
You don't know what impact we're going to have on people's lives.
That's right.
Never know. One plants, one waters, and God gives the increase.
Yes, amen. Amen.
Not everybody you pray for is going to get saved. They've got to be ready. Most of these people, Teen Challenge, they've hit the end of the line. And then they turn their life over to Jesus, and they go on for the Lord. Well, I'm not supposed to preach it. They invite me back if I do. They did that in Vancouver. He said, we don't want any more preachers over here. I said, all right. I would rather preach to Hell's Angels, Gypsy Jokers, and bikers. I had the time of my life preaching during the hippie days here in the area. I went to Washington Park, Mount Tabor, and Washington, Mount Tabor, and Blair Hill. That was a crazy place. A bunch of bikers, Gypsy Jokers there, and they liked me, and I got right with them. But I had no trouble preaching to them. The hardest people I had to preach to is a place like this, because you're all like in a reservoir. You can't get out, and I'd rather catch a wild fish and then one of the sticks and floating around. I mean, no.
All right, go ahead. We understand.
But anyway, before I get out of here, I'd like to, for your benefit, sir, give a little testimony about where I came from and what I've done. And so bear with me. I made a few notes. A friend of mine in Portland, Martin Hydell, took me to church, a Baptist church, and I was sitting in that church, and I said, man, these people have something I've never had before, and I never had no peace. So I walked out the door of the church, and the pastor comes out there, and he says, what do you, I said, I'd like to talk to you in private. Took me in the back room, I bowed my head, I said, God, I've believed in you all my life. I walked out the door of that church, I never felt better in my life. I lit up one of my Winston cigarettes, and the guy with me, Martin Heidel, he said, man, he said, you look different. I said, man, I feel different. And so then I started going a church over in Vancouver, because I like excitement. Nothing wrong with the Baptist church, but I like some action. I've always been an action person. So I went over to the church in Vancouver and a while, and God called me to go to Bible college in Santa Cruz, Assembly of God. I lasted just about 1 year. And God calls you, sometimes the equipment they give you ain't gonna work right.
Come on.
I mean, you can have all kinds of degrees, but you can bore people half to death. If I turn on the radio and they don't have half anointing, I turn them off. I like Adrian Rogers because the man really knows his Word of God. I like to hear people that are anointed because the Bible said it takes the anointing to break the yoke.
Come on.
And, well, anyhow, I went back to Portland and helped lead a mission, Harold Wool, downtown Portland. And I met a man that was a preacher. He didn't look like no preacher. He was ugly as sin. He had freckles on his face. He had front teeth were missing and red hair. But I was standing there talking to somebody, and he walks up and he said, I can quote that whole chapter. I had a stroke, so you have to ride with me. My computer don't always work the best. Well, anyhow, I made friends with him, and he was sharp. He could quote the New Testament verbatim. He could quote almost all the Old Testament except the Psalms and the Proverbs. The guy was a walking Bible. So I said, Hubert, I said, why don't we go up to Portland State up there, and there might be some place up there to preach. He says, okay. So we went up there, and there was nobody there. I said, Hubert, why don't we go up there by the college up there, and probably more people will preach there. He says, okay. We went up there, and he got out there and preached. Some students come out there out of the woodwork. We had a crowd like wouldn't stop. A guy stood out of the crowd, and he says, well, I'd like to meet a real Christian. Well, me being new and dumb, I just walked over and said, I'm a Christian, and shook his hand. What I didn't know, there was a couple in that crowd that knew me, but I didn't know them. And I went down to do the laundromat later, and I'm sitting there, and here comes a couple in. Don't know it's the same couple, and it was. And I sat there and I started preaching to them. I said, you need God? And, well, they thought I was crazy. I fell off a turnip truck. Well, anyhow, Derek Prince was preaching down at Harold's Wool's church, and I said, if you guys want to go see something good tonight, I said, you go down there and you'll hear a real preacher. They ran at that night. They ran all the way to that church, went down there, gave their hearts to Jesus. Hallelujah. I walked up the door and I said, man, that was neat. They said, we thought you were a nut, but a good one. You never know how God is going to work. You be on the line for Jesus, and God will accomplish things you've never seen before. Amen. God's word will not return void. They're either going to be for judgment, or they're going to be for heaven. And I'd rather go to heaven.
Hallelujah.
Okay, let's see. Hubert and I went to Berkeley, California, and I said, Hubert, that's where it's happening. I said, that's where the action is. And I said, so we went to Berkeley, and the place was insane. That was the first steps of the hippie movement, and they were just wild, vile language, and tearing you apart. And Hubert was so good, he just stood right there. He could answer questions, and pretty soon, the Lord sent me to go down to Berkeley High School. I went down and I stepped up on a little fountain there, and they called the sermon on fountain. And so I preached there for almost 8 years, and I loved those kids. And pretty soon they got to like me. And it's just neat to be able to think the impact you have on young people. Give you one in particular I thought was kind of neat. They invited a police officer and a social worker and myself into the high school. They're gonna have a discussion. They wanted each one to pick which one they want. I got them all. Cop didn't get nobody, the social didn't get one, but they liked me. When people like you, you're gonna tell what God needs to hear and not what you think they ought to hear. I preach hell, fire, and damnation. I burned them kids up so bad, they thought they were gonna drop into hell. I did it at a high school one day. I preached hell, fire. A girl come up there and started crying right in front of me. That's how God works. You don't understand it. You just do what God tells you to do and the job will get done.
Amen.
Those kids were unbelievable. It had the second high scholastic school outside of Hollywood, California. These kids were so sharp, it's unbelievable. They taught Swahili and fencing. They were so sharp. Unbelievable kids. We go hunting and fishing in the mountain. They just go home and read books. They're just book readers. Anyway, am I doing all right? Okay, don't throw me out yet. I'm not just. This is kind of fun.